Hey folks, planning the next trip and also looking back at some of the recent creek trips that I've done. They've all been tributaries of the Susquehanna River. Very important in the spring. All those tributaries serve as a spawning hub for that section of river. So these are river fish that are running, 12, 15, 18, 30 plus miles up a creek to find good spawning habitat. I think the bigger ones have already done. We've seen the fry in the water on recent trips, so we've had a successful spawn. But it's important when you do these trips to catalog what was the gauge, what was the water clarity, how often did you have to get out and drag, or how often, or was it too much? Was there a whole lot of flow that maybe by the end of the day, and I certainly had one of those trips, I shouldn't have been out there. So it's important to basically look at, we're not going to look at specific gauges, but just understand that I do look at gauges and I record them. This little composition notebook has river levels and CFSs in clarity dating back. This is over, 22-year-old composition notebook. So I put tabs for each river on here, and these are actually old Rappahannock River gauges, right? So what I do is the gauge, what the absolute value was, and then the trend. This one, I guess it had peaked at 7.65 a couple days before. Sometimes I do water temperature and what I caught. But what's important there, in all of these, there's some Shenandoah stuff, is to record them. It looks like some New River stuff, and basically keep that as a record, so that you're gonna say, hey, I think I want to go float this creek, but it did rain. I don't know what the conditions are going to look like. You have a record, and that's what I just sat here and recorded in this. So very useful thing that you're doing your future self a big favor by jotting down those. Now, if we're going to talk the big rivers, man, if you told me that the Remington gauge on the Rappahannock was at 3.2 feet, I know that that's generally going to be clear. I know that I'm going to have a fun time running through a rock garden on the way down to Kelly's Ford. It's going to be a little bumpy, but it'll be doable. But if it's up at like 6.8 feet, I probably don't want to run it. It's probably going to be rolling mud. So you get those numbers in your head eventually, but the best way to get them in your head is by writing them down. So the other tool I wanted to show you, and I'm going old school, this is actually Edward Gertler's Keystone Canoeing. And basically, I'm looking here at the Susquehanna River and all the different tributaries that this man has paddled and written descriptions with, the gradient. Well, look at this one. The gradient, 16. That means that it drops 16 feet in 1 mile. It gives you the difficulty, 1 to 1 plus class rapids, and then he does it in time in terms of it's going to take him 10 hours to paddle 30 miles. Well, these are not fishing things, but basically it shows you things like, hey, where's the dam? What are the distances between one access point and another? It tells you access points, and look at this list. Look at all these places, all of these little creeks that you can get in and fish and explore. I mean, it's a lot of fun in the lower Susquehanna Basin, and it didn't even touch North Branch, West Branch. My point is, though, I'm doing some of the work right now to catalog, hey, what were the conditions? What did I catch? What are the patterns? What's the time of year? What, you know, how many CFS? What was the rain amount? And what did that change with regard to the fishing conditions? That way, I don't have to drive up there and look at it and be like, oh man, I'm not fishing here today because it's rolling chocolate mud. Or, and I've done this mistake where you go somewhere and you're like, yeah, we were gonna do a float trip. It's 8.3 miles, and 2 miles in, you're like, we can't go back up, but we got to continue down the remaining 6 miles. That'll be a shin bashing death march. I've done that. You have enough water, but don't want to have too much. So, start a record. A little bit of a later start today. It's okay though. I've done what I think is good research, and I shouldn't need 12 or 14 hours of grinding to catch a good set of fish, make a good episode. I've not been on this section of this creek. In fact, I've only fished this creek, I want to say 1 or 2 times down near the mouth of it where it enters the Susquehanna. I'm going well above that today. And the resources of the Whitewater guidebook and Google Maps, looking at Onyx, all of it factors in. So looking forward to some more creek exploration. So if you're one of the handful of people that actually comments on my videos, I wanted to say thank you. That for sure helps drive the analytics, the metrics, whatever it is, the engagement that helps show it to other people and help other people. It also is probably the most significant form of payment or recognition that I get out of doing this. I will tell you that I look at the numbers, I look at the actual financial numbers to try to see, hey, did it even pay for my gas for that trip? And that's kind of my goal, is can I make enough that, you know, my gas is covered? And a lot of times, actually, it's about 50-50. Half of the videos I make, my gas isn't even covered, let alone, you know, payment for the amount of time I put into it and all the other things. It's an expensive hobby, not an income source. But the kind comments, the words of encouragement, and the feedback for what, you know, what they learned from it. What did you learn from it? Please comment. It definitely helps. And it helps shape what I'm going to produce next. So do, at the end of watching one of my videos, make a comment. And I try to reply to all of them. One that I don't reply to is, I hesitated to even acknowledge this, but like I think I reply to almost everything on a new video as it comes out. It's harder to keep track of the old ones. But when someone asks, hey man, what creek were you on? Well, I've been on 7 different tributaries of the Susquehanna this year so far. And there's so many really good ones. In fact, I don't think I've been on one that I've explored and said, man, I'll never go back there. If that's where your brain's at, if that's where if you just think, if I only knew what that creek was, I could, you haven't evolved yet. You haven't evolved far enough yet as an angler, and you need to keep watching and learning the lessons, and not just jump to, the place. That's what I need, is the place. Tell me the place, Jeff, then I can take care of the rest. I think if that's what you're asking, no, you need to learn the patterns. You need to learn the process. And I'm not gonna just give you the place. And honestly, even if you learn the patterns and the places and I gave you the place, I think by then you're probably finding your own places that are even better. So to those of you that watch the videos and say, ooh, I know what creek you on, good. That means that you have done the work of exploring. To be clear, I'm not hiding where I'm going. There will be clues, but I'm not trying to leave you a trail of breadcrumbs. I'm baking you bread. The point is, I really just hope that you, I don't know, practice the process. Just go explore. Go look at Google Maps. Buy a guidebook. Get a subscription to Onyx. You know, just learn how to do this. Because it's fun. Like, it is fun. I think it's more fun to hit new water every time than it is to find out of a spot, and that's all you got is that spot, and you beat the snot out of that spot, and then I don't know, the spot isn't as good next time, or just the spot is something you share with a lot of people. I see very few other people in the spots that I go. That's valuable to me. And, you know, there's people that are like, yeah, just wait. They'll find out. Everyone will be in your spot. Will they? Because my spot keeps changing. That looked like good water. Broken rod. Damn it. Unfortunate. So, as I was coming down that path, rolling it on the landing gear, I thought it'd look really cool in the video to roll it right into the water. I wouldn't have normally done that. I could tell that it was steep. It just rolled over and crunched one of my favorite rods. Oh. But hey, misfortune leads to immediately, man, first cast, good fortune. And that was a good fish. On the jackhammer. All right. Maybe I picked a good section. We'll see. Okay, got some big head shakes here. Nice fish. Yep, that's a big one. Oh. Nice. You know, if they're gonna hit gold jackhammers all day, I might not go very deep into my rotation. Probably 17. Take a look here. Let's see what we got. Well, 16 and a half. Let me take this camera down and we're gonna take a closer look at where those two came from. Steep bank, outside bend. That 16 and a half was, it's not a huge eddy. There is a boulder just under the surface that kind of reaches out to the current seam. The let's see, the 14 was down there, but let's just look at this one for now. Move in on it. Again, it does start with a steep bank. Lots of rock, lots and lots of rock. Bigger area, maybe, I say bigger, probably 4 feet until you get to a current seam. Big boulder there. It's not that big. It's bigger than trash can lid size, but you know, I feel like it's fairly steep here. It's a decent drop off. Not huge, but like, you know, not that far off the bank. That's a good bit of depth. And you know, outside bend, steep bank, rocky structure, decent depth, current seam. Let's find more of that. So the jackhammer is just what I happen to have tied on from last time. Makes sense though for the water clarity. It's green, but it's a brownish sort of green, not crazy good visibility, and you know, there's a lot of flow. This has, you know, been dropping a while, but it's still up, which is good because I need that water, and water this small to be able to continue to advance upstream. Give it another month here, and like I'll be hiking a lot to see the same water. Just missed one here. Okay. Follow up with the scented jerk shad, the big one. Just swimming it, and that's a bigger fish. Good follow-up decision. And I haven't gone far from the, like my truck's right there. So far, very good. That's the scented jerk shad and redfish toad, and it looks like 16 3/4. Nice fish. I chose that redfish toad because it's got a little more glitter to it than the shiner that I usually use. Got to watch that one eat. That was fun. Like I could see the bait kind of slowly gliding. Very slow retrieve. But swimming it. Straight swimming. And yeah, the redfish toad having more of that glitter kind of made sense to me in this more stained water. So the reason I did the downshift from the jackhammer to this still power fishing but finesse power fishing presentation is because I had one grab the tail of the diesel minnow on the jackhammer and not fully eat it. I said, all right, I'm going to slow it down, make it a little more subtle. It could be just I have the right level and they're eating everything, but to have one do what it did and not fully commit to the eat, I think it was a good decision. Good downshift decision. What do we got here? Oh, nice fish on the jackhammer. Nice. It's gonna be this all day long. I'm good with that. So I believe that moving slow is gonna get my bigger fish bites today, and I could just throw that all day, but what's gonna happen is I'm not gonna show it to as many fish over the course of the day. So I'm kind of saving it for where I look at a spot and I'm like, I get a lot of faith in it, or where I've seen one slash at it, and I just wanna catch him, and he's shown himself. I have an aggressive power fishing bait that's working, so why am I taking it off? Well, I may come back to it. What I really want though is to catch him on a spinnerbait, but what I want is I can track those blades better than I can the jackhammer. Like, it's just more visual. I always know where the bait is, and for that reason I'm gonna try it, and if it's just as effective and I have the added benefit of tracking it visually, that's a win. Fish here with the spinnerbait. Yeah, that's much easier to track. Much better. Think he'll eat it? Just like he did the jackhammer? Hope so. It also has the benefit of that you throw it against wood. That's a good fish. The jackhammer gets snagged more often. That's a very good fish. And the spinnerbait kind of comes through there. Yeah, that was like the third cast with the spinnerbait. That's big for the day, and we're pretty early in the day. Yep, you're 18 inches right on it. A little bit beat up. See that? That's probably from it spawning and getting beat up. We'll put it back in there. So, see you later, Mr. Post-spawn. I say post-spawn. You know, it's hard to really nail it down. The spawn covers such a wide period of time, and you know, early you'll have some big fish spawn, and then the next year class set of fish will spawn, but there'll still also be some big spawning. And then as you move into June, which we're not far from, it's another week, we're into June, you know, you will have 12 to 14 inches on beds. It's crazy watching them try out their little spawning training wheels, if you will. All right, let's take a look at where that 18 came from. I will preface it before we actually look right at it. This was a long bank of unbroken calm water against the bank. Wasn't crazy steep anymore, but this is the end of, you know, I don't know, quarter mile of a lot of pocket water before it gets pinched off by what we have here. So this is really swift, and basically this foam right here is all the way at the top of that long unbroken chain of bank pocket water, and that fish, you know, was associated with this really still foam, but was not in it. It was out here in the current. So that fish ate here in that swift current, but right next to the most upstream portion of pretty still foam. It's an aggressive eat spot. I'm gonna throw this, which was the bait from last time that just caught all the good fish. Yeah, I got one here. Decent fish on 4-inch scented brook shad. And that took me, I don't know, probably 5 casts in that spot. Each cast was, you know, a good, you know, the sitting on bottom time for each one was probably in that 30 to 45 second range. All right, this lesson took me a long time to figure out because I love finessing, I'm instinctually more of a finesse guy, but when I hear people say that, it makes me self-reflect and think, you know, I used to say that, and yes, if you throw this all the time, you will always catch fish. If you throw this all the time, you will not always catch fish. In cases where you have to invest the time, this is always going to work. But today, I'm not going to throw that anymore. Like, I could probably put this rod back in the truck and be good with it, unless the bite totally turns off. The point is, I don't have to finesse today. I get to power fish today, and I get to strain more water. I get to keep throwing moving baits. That was not the case in the last trip. I tried this and so many other things, moving baits. It wasn't working. I had to slow down and invest more time and show any bait to fewer fish over the course of the day. It worked out. I mean, was it 92 1/4 inches? But like, I had 5 hours without a bite throwing this kind of stuff. Totally like, I'm gonna force it. I'm gonna, you know, which is totally not the old me. The point is, you don't want to be a power fishing guy or a finesse guy. You got to do both, and you got to shift back and forth based on what they're giving you, what they're telling you. And today, they're telling me they're chasing. Don't finesse. Don't waste your time. Show your bait to more fish. You know, and it's why I started the day with the jackhammer. I always start, if I can get a power fishing thing going. Point is, do both, but do both power fishing and finesse on the right days based on what the fish are telling you. All right, let's go find some more. All right, so we are leaving that nice swirly foam behind and looking upstream, saying, do you want to see more of it? No, not immediately. Maybe there's a small pocket of it, but no, that's not worth it. Let's put the hammer down and like keep moving. Don't just fish everything you come to. Maybe some of that's worth a cast as I'm passing, but I'm not going to set up on that and work it. Far too much current here. Keep moving until you find, you know, it's like baseball. Take your pitch. You know, don't swing at everything. You shouldn't. Only swing at the ones that you know you can connect with. I like that analogy. That works. How's it look? Nope. Let's get closer. There's definitely some stuff up there that worth some cast. I am gonna hit this one real quick. Looks worthy of at least one shot. Gonna slow it down, drop a spinnerbait on it. Oh, I missed. It hit the tree and bounced out. Ooh, I'm actually at the back of the... I was so focused there, I wasn't even looking at the back of that island. There's a nice big eddy here. Yep. Oh gosh, good one. Holy, big head on you. Big old head. Glad I had my head on a swivel for that guy. Oh, and I'm losing ground fast. Alright, let's get back up in there. See if I can get something. See if he was the only one in there. It's 17 and a half, but like mid-creek island. Oh, look at that calm water in there. That's where that 17 was. He was sort of at the back where it, I don't want to say if it pinches off, but it wasn't at the fat wide part, it was at the narrower part towards the back where he hit. Alright, same eddy. Got another one hooked up. But about a 15. So I like fishing these bodies of water, these creeks, after we've had a significant rise. And last week we had it. This is towards the end of a long tail of it coming down for like 5 or 6 days of a drop. I think it makes them hungry. I think they're on that treadmill set on high, and they're just, that was a slash that didn't eat it. All right, let's do the follow-up. But yeah, having them on the treadmill for 6 days, and then you just serve them up something delicious. Follow-up bait. Yep. Sent a gift bag after one of them slashed at it and then didn't eat it. Follow-up baits work. So that's why I have 2 of these rod stagers here in front of me. You know, it's just to have your more aggressive power fishing bait active, get slashed at and missed. It's right here in front of me. I don't have to turn around. I don't have to take it off of the hook keeper. It's like quick, pick it up, chuck it in there. While that fish is amped up, it just works. Start moving up towards the shoreline eddy that I first spotted before I had my head on a swivel and decided to fish that island eddy. Still relatively shallow. So last week on a different creek, I got 2 18-inchers in and around pads. Now, mind you, it was much higher flow than what we've got today, but just, it's weird to me that they're here in this high gradient, a creek. But there they are. It's kind of cool. It's, you know, we don't have that up in the Susquehanna. Oh, that was a bump. Follow up. So the creek got really wide here, which is a problem because the wider it gets, the shallower it gets. Out in the middle, big long eddy caused by, I'm gonna tell you, rock, even though it looks like a scrub island. You got to look at, I guess, what the underlying structure is, and if there is no rock, I'm not as interested. Nice. This one, it's a nice long eddy right out in the middle. Let's take a look. Just because there's wood and brush on it doesn't mean that the rock doesn't, the underlying rock is what causes it, and it comes way back here. And I cast it up at the top a couple times and then backed off, positioned out here in current, and then did cast across. And it's hard to tell, but some of that is slow moving water, like right there. some of it's stopped. Follow-up cast to that mid-river or mid-creek eddy, and wow, look at that big wallower. I present to you tubbiness, fatness. Alright. That one I think has yet to spawn. Look at that big old monster going in there to lay some eggs.
You can't screw it up. You can't put the plate in the wrong place. It just goes together perfect. No thinking.
Tabbing slot and having a nice fixture table and, you know, idiot-proofing production, huh?
Yeah. Man, I cannot wait to get that dang rod pod. I was looking up clamshell ovens.
Yeah.
Over the weekend, and I think I can make one.
Island cut through. Nice fish. Yep, I'm about to swing into trouble. Yep. Clumsy. Nice looking rock caused eddies up in there. Steep bank. You know, I've been sort of picking apart all of it, and I think what I need to do, like, I got a bait that's just smashing. I need to move faster. I need to, you know, just tear through some torpedo power and just get miles in going after the right, you know, the right water. In order to do that, like, I slid into kind of fishing everything, you know. Yeah, it was fun to fish that gap in the island and, you know, experiment, just try to figure out something better with fishing everything. And I know where they are, I know what they're gonna eat. I need to just go to those spots and just keep chucking the spinnerbait. Totally calm backwater type area in between these islands. Pretty wild. Totally different habitat than what I've seen elsewhere. I think I'm blocked going up through there. So I'll turn around and go back the way I came. Tricky little spot to get to. Let's tuck in and rip down there. Oh, that's a big one. Oh. There are so many islands here to throw spinnerbait behind, and I gotta get this one in. I'm gonna show you the lay of the land here in just a second, after hopefully getting that thing. Yeah, like, just go island to island to island and throw behind, and like, lot of them around. That size. Nice. Nice fish. Missing a chunk out of your gill plate. See that? What happened to you? Yeah, just a hair over 17. Alright, let's take a look at where we're at. So, he was here at the end of this island, and I was just on the back side of those islands. Came out through kind of right down there at the back of that one. I couldn't actually get up through that because of all the logs, and I mean, you go up there and it splits into, that's an island in the middle where it splits right and then left, and it's just this massive complex of braided islands. I've thrown spinnerbait up in there a bunch of times. Caught one good one, and I thought, alright, let's go back to the redfish toad scented jerk shad. The 5-incher redfish toad did the job. Nice 16 1/4 that did not eat the spinnerbait. That 16er was somewhere on this side of the current seam, but look what's on the other side. How am I presenting to that? Nice looking foam. It goes way across. Alright. It was the jerk shad that got it, not the spinnerbait. Oh, power. Oh yeah, you're a chunk, man. You're a wallower. Look how full that belly is. I will tell you, if I had 6 inches less water in this creek, and mind you, I have not gotten out once to hike through this stuff, but 6 inches less water, and I think I've probably already dragged up through 5 or 6 places. Haven't done it once. I've been banging that motor, grinding and paddling with it, but this might be my first. I think I can get through it though. Let's take a look at where I think that'll happen. I chose not to do that one because that one was looking really skinny. It's kind of knuckles down. This is the widest part of all these braided islands. It's got the most water, and man, I'm already banging here. It's not going to be close to that short line, and it's not going to be close to that. It's going to be where most of the water is, and it's right in the middle, and I need to put this camera in its place and get this one going. So many cuts everywhere you go. So pushy. So tell me that one is, I mean, it's still got a spawn. That's a big old belly. See you guys. We'll get a quick measure. I mean, it'll give you an idea of which ones have gone and which ones haven't. And this one is just over 15. And gotta make some babies. That's what I mean. It happens in stages, you know. The 17s and a couple 18s I got were not fat. They had leaned out, and some of these 15s and 16s are like, you know, still carrying egg mass, and it's almost the end of May. So I knew that this ledge or whatever this rocky structure is was going to be difficult to find the right path to have enough depth to keep that motor going. As I got closer, I realized I can walk up that bank if I need to. I can do the same on the other side, but I want to first try where most of the water is. This little downstream pointing V right here looks promising, and I may try it because I'm right in front of it, but I got pretty good faith that that center tongue right down there should have enough depth if this one fails. Cranking this outside bend, just giving them a different look than the spinnerbait. I got a crankbait fish going. Trying to not be. There we go. Alright, so my answer to them just nipping at the end of it is to give them more pointy things to get stuck on. You know, the crankbait is really anything with a treble hook. I mean, it could be a jerk bait, but it's just when they're hitting it, not like they need it, but just like they're curious. Gives you a better shot of getting them. And this one feels more substantial, like the head shakes are different, and what it's doing in current is, yep, that's a good fish on the crank. All right, I gotta bring you up and scoop you all at once. Oh, are you kidding me? There was 2 on there. I had 2 fish on. That's why it wasn't moving. Oh my gosh. Okay, maybe crankbaits is what I need to be doing. This came up, and there was not just this one. Of course, you know, the one I brought in was the smaller of the 2. Yeah, it's been a while since I've caught 2-on-1 bait, but that's what I had going there. Almost. I mean, that's I commented. I was like, yeah, this one's not coming up. It's because there's 2 fish. That's cool. That's fun. Interesting. Crankbait getting the bites. All right, you get slung in. Look at this guy. Want to sit right underneath my kayak and not move. Gotta get you to the surface, buddy. Oh, gotcha. I am grinding and I am finding. Gotcha. So I do miss my single hook Ryugi rig. I got a couple in the box. I don't know why I grabbed this one, but just the old school, like just both treble hooks. All right, it's just nice with the Ryugi that you have 4 points on one single hook. That's it. That's all you got to worry about. You have to worry about the free treble swinging, and honest, I land more of them that way anyway, so see, that's what I've been throwing with 2 treble hooks. Now I'm going to switch to this one with just the one on the back, see if the catch rate changes. I mean, this one almost had a, you know, greater than 1 catch rate, because I don't think I've had any get off, and I almost landed 2 on 1 cast. That'd be kind of hard to beat, but I don't know. I like the fact that when I bring a fish in with 1 hook, on the back, and it's one that spins. It's got a swivel in there. That thing just will spin, and when they jump, they don't throw these things. If you hook them, you got them. With rare, extremely rare exception to that. All right, let's throw the single spinny hook in there. I caught all the ones that are willing to bite this presentation from this one eddy. There's a bunch of them. We'll take a look at it here in a second. We do have pads at the back of this big eddy. I haven't even hit the top, but most of these fish have been towards the back. Yep, at the back. They're even crankbaits. How cool is that? Some pretty good head shakes there, everybody. Yep. GoPro, start recording. Gotcha. Gotcha. I like it. I like it. It's fun. You got just one set of troubles to worry about. Not two. Man. Good times. There's something gross I'm going to show you. See that squiggly white stuff? This guy's got worms. Worms. That's not him. That's a nasty parasite. Ugh. Yuck. Take these off of you, dude. And then just like go home and soak my... Yeah, I'm done handling you. I got one of them out. I don't want worms. I don't want fish worms. Oh God. I've never seen that before. Seen lamprey. I've not seen tapeworms coming up out of a fish's mouth before. That's gross. Respectable little chunker. I've kind of looped around. I fished, that last one I got was up at the top, but most of my fish, you can see it's starting to pick up speed back there. But most of, I mean, you can see it's a big wide eddy with pads at the back, some calm water for sure. But most of them are in that pinch off, the last little bit of calm water before that steep bank, you know, all the current slams into that. So it's been in this back little corner here. Yeah, that seems like a bigger head shake. Yep, it is. It is. It is a bigger fish. Got one hook in. That held him. Good one. Oh yeah, that's what the Ryugi does. I think that I'd have lost that fish if it was a regular treble. That's a beautiful crankbait fish. So I try really hard to not let these fish jump. But when they do, and you have a swivel on the hook, you get to land a whole lot more of them. 17.5 incher and just real healthy crankbait fish. Thanks, man. That was pretty cool of you to eat that. The other thing that really helps with keeping a crankbait fish hooked is the right rod. This one is the Judge. It's the same one I'm throwing the spinnerbait. That one's a bait caster. This one I had done custom as a spinning rod. So it's just the right moderate action for keeping these fish buttoned with all sorts of different presentations. I love it for the jackhammer, but man, this is actually a crankbait blank. So what's the battle cry? Snowflakes everywhere. Don't judge me. You know what, smallmouth? I'm gonna judge you as much as I can. I know that smallmouth aren't. Snowflakes are about as far from snowflake as possible, but I like to judge these fish. I'm judging this one right now. Yep, that's a good one. Oh gosh, that's big. That's a lot bigger than I thought. That would be big for the day if I can correctly judge you right into the net. Yeah. Oh, how long have I been grinding in that hole and you didn't eat? Oh, he finally succumbed to the judgment. Yes. Judgment. Oh, yep, that did its job. Close your mouth. Just a hair over 18. Call him an 18 incher. About 18 and an eighth. The presence of pads, it's a little weird to me. There's also some hydrilla or elodea, and I don't know what the difference is, but it definitely marks places where when this river really gets up, it's really creek, gets up and is just scrubbing everything out. This spot is current protected, and all those fish I just caught on the crankbait were in this eddy. They weren't, I didn't get them out of the pads. I think the last one at 18 was out near the current seam, out from the pads, but this is a big important eddy in this particular system. Cool spot. Definitely marked it on my Google Maps to remember this, and springs to come, you know, I'll check the gauge book and say, oh, river level's right for hitting that spot. Let's go run up and enjoy it. Abort. That was too much. I was not gonna make it through there without the motor catching hard. So I lifted it. I'll try on the other side of this island. Property there with a wall. That guy was sitting on it. Yeah, he wasn't getting off. Oh, that's a big fish. I can't see it. Keep your butt. Yep, you've got some serious size. Gonna drift with you. Hopefully that hook holds. I keep looking upstream for like the next really big eddy, like the one that had all those fish, but this guy was in just a small little pocket. Oh, look at that tail. Is that what the spawn did to you, man? Man, made you a shorter fish for sure. Yeah, it's a 17.25, and this fish should be closing in on 18, but it's not. Poor guy. Not that poor, you're pretty fat. Nice. See ya. So, making decisions and making adjustments don't always work out. Switching to the crank certainly has. You gotta try different stuff, and you know, those fish were telling me, hey, they're just nipping at the ends of things. You gotta give them what'll work. I hadn't been throwing a crankbait. I know I got one the other day on it, but I haven't really extensively been doing much with the crankbait. But let's take a look at where that guy was. So it's a nice pocket there, but there's this little, it's not even a creek, it's just a little drainage ditch depression. If it was a creek, it'd be flowing, but it's just a low spot. And he was right on the current seam in front of that thing. Good looking spot. Looks like a creek mouth there. Threw this up towards it, and this guy latched on first cast. Yeah, you don't deserve this, but I'm gonna swing you. I think that they really do like to attack the back tip of it, especially with a craw, because they're trying to rip the claws off. Maybe I just had one good sized fish chase it from where I got that one at the creek mouth. Same cast. He chased it all the way back to the boat. He was actually bigger than what I just caught, but didn't eat it. So when they start doing that, which they're doing that anyways, give them at least one turn. Sometimes that can make a difference. Oh, there's a difference maker. Oh, yes, nice. Come here, you. I'm gonna take you away from that creek mouth. I'm gonna swing you in. Up and in. Just stopped to swap out the battery. It wasn't, the first one wasn't done, but I just figured got a good spot to do this. It's down to 17%, so it's been I've been going through a good bit of power, but hey, I got a fresh one with 100%, and it's like 4:15, so I got some time yet to fish today. I got 4 more hours. Okay, I just did a dumb thing. I mean, not dumb per se, but clumsy. I've cast it up through that tree so bad, but the crankbait is dangling and is now in my boot. Now that's clumsy. The crankbait's pretty good at not getting snagged and thrown, and I don't know, but I was not going to get it back from that tree, I don't think. So when it dangles, go over to it, cut it off, pull your line through, retie. Come on, come back. Whether you see him or not, you get that little whack that doesn't result in a hookup. Give him some turns. Okay. That one came back for it. I'm switching the crankbait over to the bait caster, which I know a lot of you guys are gonna do, like, finally you're doing it the right way. It's more about the muscle fatigue that I have with the as much as I've thrown the spinnerbait. You know, there's a good amount of resistance with the crankbait. There is with the spinnerbait too, but I don't usually have an issue with fish getting off that crankbait ever. I don't have an issue, you know, with what I use the spinning rod for in terms of treble hook baits. Like, the presentation is fine, and the fighting them, like, I've landed most of them. I think I've landed the ones that I haven't landed on the spinning rod that other people be like, man, you can't do that, have been GoPro start recording. Alright, just totally lost my whatever I was saying. I don't usually, I do fine with the spinning rod and crankbaits and spinnerbaits and jackhammers, but when I'm cranking a lot, and usually it's later in the summer actually, I'll have one spinning rod and one bait caster with the crankbait tied on, and I'll switch back and forth, and it just, in both ways, like, I can get fatigue with the bait caster as well. I will switch back and forth to give certain muscle groups a break either way. So nice 16 1/4 incher. All right, let's take a look at where that 16er came from. I fished back there around the wood, didn't get anything on the wood, but this is what caught my eye from when I was down there across the river. It's what made me cross the river, saying, hey, steepness of the bank. I could tell that there was, you know, some rock up there, and that the current was swinging out a little bit, and that there was some calm water up in there. That's where that guy was from, back along in there. Oh my God. Oh, you still down there? Yes, you are. Oh my gosh. Oh, I just kept you down there and it worked. Oh, wow. Wow, wow. Glad I was talking about that earlier, because I just made the crankbait figure 8 work. Like, I watched him come up out of there, and I saw the dark shadow, and he chased it out into some screaming fast current, and I didn't even know if he was still there. I had no clue if this fish was still there. Look how chewed up he is. You're just finishing the spawn, but you're in screaming fast current. He's 17 3/4 and absolutely fell for the figure 8 crankbait. That was cool. Thanks for helping with that lesson. Screw you, put me back. Okay. So this was a case of wait for your pitch. You know, there was a whole lot of rocky, steep shoreline coming up here. Didn't have the current characteristics I wanted, and I kept moving until I came right here. I was really looking there. Let's take a look. But it's it absolutely follows the analogy of baseball. Wait for your pitch. Wait for where you want to make your cast. The best spots in the, I had cast up in there. That's the most downstream part of a larger eddy off of this point. That didn't focus very well, but there's a rocky point there, and then there's calm water there. That's actually what I was most excited for, but I knew that, hey, this is connected, so I can start casting here. And that big fish came out, and then he was out here in this fast stuff, chasing after that crankbait, didn't eat it, and I just did it a while, and eventually he was like, "Yep, I'll eat it." That's so cool. So the end of this island is really fast, fairly shallow current on one side, and I'm fishing that current seam. I've got a couple smaller ones off of it. I'm debating whether to go up that side and just bite the bullet and deal with all that current, or go right and see. I think if I go right, eventually I'll have something that I have to walk up through, which may not be the worst thing. Yeah, that kind of sucked and isn't over yet, but I got a place to rest right up here. It continues shallow, swift, high gradient. It's got to break at some point. That was a long run of swift, shallow. I'm still nervous of running aground because it looks shallow. I haven't fished this bank though. It looks good. It looks good. So part of the why I'm not even trying that is that I'm tired. That's an island, so it's split the volume of this creek, and what's left is just, it's not enough volume. So this is an easy place to get out and walk, so I'm at least gonna, utilize this little grass patch to get around this. Now, the place I would do that if I was motoring was all the way on the other side, and if I mess up and end up downstream, there's just a series of sweepers that would mess me up, and I think I could paddle out and avoid them, but I think I just need a break. Paddle into deep enough water. Another little cool. Seems like some bigger head shakes. I'll say, oh yes. Oh, keep you buttoned. Oh, gotcha. Ooh, look at this eddy he was in. That's a good fish. Oh. All right, there is just enough calmness right where I'm sitting for me to not get sucked downstream, and this beautiful fish was sitting right in here, and like it came off that easy. Yeah, that was the rod helping me out with that one. But yeah, that's my third 18 of the day. Beautiful smallmouth way up this creek. It's super high gradient up here. I worked really hard to paddle with the motor to get to where this fish was, and go ahead and let her go. Let's see. Thank you. All right, put him back. Yeah, that pocket was just big enough for that fish, and there's crazy fast water all the way around here. And it ate the crank. It's funny, we were throwing lots of other baits earlier in the day and they were nipping at it, and I made the change to throw the crankbait. And when you nip at a crankbait, you're gonna get the business end. I am looking forward to prototype testing the longer one of these. I'm not gonna lose very much maneuverability at all by going to, well, it's gonna be what, like 15 inches longer. It's they're maneuverable craft because they sit on top of the water. But what I am going to gain is when I go up through stuff like that, is I'm not riding like this. I'm not pushing water. It'll ride more like this, and it's everything that the Peregrine has done well. This longer Kestrel is going to do exceptionally well, and it'll have the maneuverability, the whitewater capabilities that the Peregrine's okay at. The Kestrel's way better at. And I'm pretty good at putting crankbaits in trees. No good. I'm somewhat experiencing gradient fatigue. Like, there's not enough, deep, calm water pools to stop and actually fish. It's mostly just running up and running up and running up, and hey, there's a little pocket, which is, I don't know, less fun. Like, this section has been a lot of battery use, fewer casts, and so I get around this last island and see what else is up there. I don't know. Like, it's 6:20 and I got 2 hours to fish, and I don't know how far. Like, I got a good while to get back down, but as fast as this current is, it's gonna be quick. I bet you I'm close to 5 miles up. The fact that I'm hesitating tells me, hesitating to continue upstream tells me that I need to just drop a waypoint, call it as far up as I went, and turn around and find some of the water that maybe early on in the day I hit with a spinnerbait that really needs a crankbait run over it. All right, here comes the fun time lapse on the GoPro. I enjoy them. Hope you enjoy them. As we go, we'll talk a little bit about how today developed. Right out of the gate, got a nice one on a jackhammer, which makes me happy because I know that if they're gonna hit moving baits, I got a lot to work with. It doesn't narrow me down much at all if there's a fish on the first cast that's willing to jam a jackhammer. There's a certain level of aggression that it's just gonna work. As the day wore on, I was catching them on spinnerbait quite a bit in some, swimming 5-inch center jerk shad as a follow-up bait. The bite kind of slowed down, and what I was noticing is fish were chasing the bait back to the boat and not eating it. I kept seeing these dark shapes underneath the jackhammer, the spinnerbait, whatever it was, whereas early in the day they were eating. As the day wore on, it became less and less eating and more just chasing without the eat. And the critical good decision that I made was to, hey, let's give them something that when they just nip at the back end of it, like they were doing with the diesel minnow as the trailer on the jackhammer, or even the spinnerbait skirt, they were doing that too. giving them something in the way of like 4 hook points out there to get caught on was a good move. You know, it's basically all I've done ever since then is just crankbait, crankbait, crankbait. That being said, on the way back down, there'll be some places that I think, and I have a spinnerbait at the ready, just for the sake of ease of hey, it's less likely to snag. I'm gonna throw the spinnerbait again, and in hopes that as we get towards the end of the day, they're more in a committed eating mode than a chase it and nip at the tail of it mode. You know, if they slide back into full eats, man, give them the spinnerbait. Less likely to snag on stuff and less likely to, I don't know, I used to say less likely to lose the fish, but with that Ryugi quad spin hook, so few of those fish get off. All right, we've arrived back where I started throwing the crank. I probably shouldn't throw it there anymore because I wrecked a lot of fish right there with the crank. But from here down, it's I don't know, say fresh water, at least fresh to that bait. I got the motor up. I'm just floating and positioning, because like to put it down, like I basically have to pick a spot if I'm gonna utilize the motor, because the backsliding with it down is dangerous. That's the spot I'm lowering the motor for. Truth be told, I like the first part of this section that I've done today better than what I did that last part. When it got to be so high gradient, it just seemed like, all right, where are my fishing targets, and like long distances in between them. That isn't as much fun. And I think for trout you need high gradient. For smallmouth, you can have some high gradient here and there, but if you have too much of it for too long, you know, how long are they going to stick around? And it just, I don't know, didn't feel as right up there. I know I got that one 18-incher that was nice fish up there, but like this lower section interests me more. Yeah, this water cleaned up and greened up significantly during the course of the day, and it's losing all of its brown. It's turned into green, and I'm looking at a riffle that I got up through. It'd be harder to do it now than what it was earlier. There was, I mean, this continues to drop. The level just drops, and it's cleaning up, and it's all going to be undone in 2 days. It starts raining again, which is good. Well, it's a good thing I did the wrap up early, because I haven't caught any fish on the way down. It's weird. It's like the fish heard what I had to say, agreed with me, and said, okay, cool, job's done, y'all can clock out and go home now. Oh, yes, let's catch one more. Nothing was happening with the crankbait, but I got the one. decided to downshift and throw something a little more finessey. It started swimming the finesse jig. Ah, big head. Yep. Big head on the jig. Swimming jig. Ooh, yeah. Hi. You like? Oh, man. I threw the crankbait on the way down for quite a while before I said, all right, let me listen to him. What'd they say? Black jig. Okay, cool. How do you like it? Swam. All right, I'll do that. Cool. Downshift. Big Head has a friend who's also pretty nice size. Yeah, you're actually bigger, I believe. Yep, same spot, 2 nice fish. So usually, end of the day, they get more aggressive as the sun gets low. But I think some of what's going on is that we've got a high pressure that is developed at the end of the day. We had clouds at some point during the day, which I think that mix of sun and clouds is good for fish activity. When it went full sun, high pressure, and it's cooling off. We're actually going to have unusually cool temps the next several days, including 2 days from now in the rain. It's going to be cold. So I'm going to come back out then. Should be interesting to see what these fish do with a rise, but it's also a cool down. Getting it done. Well, I have run out of river. I'm back to launch. I'm back to where I got the first one on the first cast. And it's been a good day. Let's take a few more casts, pull out of here, and do a little bit more of a summary. All right, it's the next morning, and I slept in. I guess I didn't realize how much I worked to get up that last section, paddling with the motor. It's good insight, testing the Kestrel 126-36 as a prototype. It gives insight, and it makes me look forward to the one that we're gonna make. So we're gonna have 2 lengths. We're gonna have the 12.5, and then we're gonna have another one that I think is 13 foot 9 inches. And that one's gonna be the one that was more ideal for the trip I did yesterday, just because of how, so if it's climbing up whitewater, the 12.5 is going to climb it like this and use more energy, and then the 13.9 at 15 inches longer, all added onto the back end, is going to ride like this instead of this. So it's going to be more efficient moving upstream. So we'll have that that prototype haul sometime, I don't know, maybe midsummer, and we'll outfit that, and we'll do some more of these aggressive upstream runs like what I did yesterday. But for now, I got this thing out. I'm gonna make record of where I was, what the river level was. Oh look, I got a cat that's joined me. That's George. Say hello, George. Make record of it. Yeah, you can't rub on the camera, cat. Here, just sit down. Make record of what the creek level was, and talk about the conditions. Take some notes and actually, relate it to that I put in at that location, ran up, I got to do the distance. I think it was 5 miles around that. And make record of, sure, what I caught, what the patterns were, but it'll be a reference, so that if I say next fall, if I want to run up there and the river level is 6 inches lower, I'll know, not that section. I couldn't have done what I did if it was six inches lower, which I lost. I think I lost close to that while I was out there, and it was tougher coming down. But the point is, if you keep records, you don't have to go up there and invest the time to go to a location that you've been before and kind of guess, like, I think it's enough water, or I don't think it's too much water, And today was a good trip for that section of that creek to really nail it down. I think if it was more water, I don't think I could have done what I did, because I paddled a good portion the second half of the day with the motor full throttle, and I don't think I was Cat. Get down, Cat. I don't think I got that done with 6 inches more or 6 inches less. I think that was the perfect day to do the section that I did. Anyhow, thanks for watching.